In my last video on this channel, I designed that cabinet down there, the one that pulls out and folds open. And then I built it, and that video is on my main channel if you want to watch that. There's a link in the description. In this video, I'm going to take care of this one up here. I've got a different idea for this one, a lot simpler. I've already made the outside part here because it's pretty much exactly the same as I did over there. If you want to see how I did that, you can watch that video. This one's different in that I'm using the drawer slides on the bottom over here, and they're right tight down against this right here. There's going to be a platform that slides out, and it's going to have a single panel in the middle to use as a tool board on both sides, actually. So it's going to be really simple. The thing that makes this one different is it's going to have a kind of a secret compartment underneath, because people like secret compartments for some reason. So I guess I'll get a few more views on the video if I include one of those in this thing right here. Plus, you know, if you have something that you absolutely need to hide, it'd probably be a good place to do it. All right, the first thing that I'm going to build is the platform itself. And that doesn't have to be that thick. I figure 1.5 inches is the most. I've got a piece of scrap here, spruce. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it that size. I think it's pretty much straight all the way along. And I'm just going to make a rabbet up in the top corner here to receive the panel. Now I need to cut 2 pieces out of this that are 19 inches long. I've got my stop set on the length of a miter saw station. And while I'm at it, I can cut my piece of plywood that'll make up the deck to the same length. I took my sticks and I put them together here, and I figured out how wide the plywood panel has to be, and that's 9 5/8, and I'll just cut that to width here on the table saw, not with the blade sticking up this high though. Always want to match the blade height to the work you're doing. Teeth should be just sticking above. I'll take my sides, put the panel in for a test fit, and then check the measurement. And it's exactly right. So now I can put it together. I'm just going to put some glue in there and fire in a few shorter brad nails. All right, now that I've got it together, I just want to confirm that's actually the right fit. And it looks pretty good to me. I've cut some end pieces here. I want to put those in next. So I've cut a piece of 1/4 inch plywood to close in the bottom, and that fits in there pretty much exactly. I've also cut a couple of pieces for the ends here. I'm just going to attach those with glue and some short brads. I did a little bit of fine tuning on the panel to make sure that it's fitting in there properly. What I'm looking for is that when it's held upside down like this panel will just drop out with gravity only. Nothing to pry it open. And when it goes back in, it's completely flush, and it looks like a piece of plywood that's been banded around. And the only thing you can see here are these nail holes, which look perfectly normal, actually. I need a simple way to hold the panel in on the end here. And what I've come up with is just a number 10 bolt here. And I'm going to drill right into the end of the panel as well, so that the screw will fit right in there. And then I can glue the screw in place. And whereas on the inside of the cabinet, it'll never be seen. Okay, I've got that done. And you can see it drops down and you can pull it out. But I need to wait until the glue dries on that screw before I can put the latch in here. I actually have to think of the latch as well. So I'm just going to slip that back in and use a piece of tape to keep that in until I can do a little bit more with it. I'm going to do this the same way as I did the other one over there. I got pieces of 1/4 inch plywood to space it up. I'm just going to set it in between the slides, and then I'm going to put the screws in at the front of the slide first, and then put the rest of them in as I pull it out. Well, it's the next day. I let all the glue dry on this stuff, and I actually took this thing out and added sides to it after the glue dried on all of the rest of it. And this is the way this needs to work. Slides in on that pin on the back there, and when you let go of it, it'll drop right down nice and smooth. So you just take it right out, and you've got all this. It's not a huge space, but you can put important documents in here, or any spare money that you happen to have. Slip that back in. Now I've got to come up with a method of keeping that closed that's not visible, and that's usually a very tricky part. Now I thought about using a magnet up inside here, just stick it up there, and then the magnet catches it. That's not a especially secure way of doing it. It will hold it as long as you don't put much weight in here, but you know, the last thing you want to have happen is, you know, you got your guests here in the shop, and then you slide this open to show off what you have up on top, and then the bottom drops out, exposing whatever you happen to have inside here. So I've come up with a different way that's a little bit more secure. For this to work, the first thing I had to do was I had to drill a hole in one of the spare holes in the drawer slides here. I picked the one right here, and I drilled a small hole that goes right through the thing on both sides, actually, and that marks it so that I could take it down and take the slides off, and now I want to enlarge that hole and drill it right through the box with a 1/4 inch bit. I've got a guide made from hardwood just to try to keep it as straight as I possibly can, and I'll line that up with the hole by eye again and drill through. I could do this on a drill press, but I think this is a lot easier. Okay, I've got the tray taken out again, and as you can see, the hole drilled right through the sides that I put on this as well. Now I need a dowel. I've got a 1/4 inch one here, and that needs to slip through these holes fairly, I can't say loosely, but it has to slide through there easily, and this is a little bit too snug. Because this dowel, oddly enough, is actually a full 1/4 inch thick. So I'm going to have to enlarge those holes a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back in, and then I'm going to run the next size up drill bit through it to make the holes just a small amount bigger. Taking the tray out again, I'll put the dowel in, and it looks perfect now. Slides freely, and there's no play. So next thing I need to do is actually cut this to the same width as this tray. It has to be pretty much exactly the same. So I'm just going to line it up on the end there, and then I'm going to make a mark, and then I'll cut it on the miter saw using my zero clearance insert, which makes the cut a lot safer. Before I put the dowel back in the tray, I'm just going to chamfer over the tip on both ends, although only one end really needs to be done, but this way you won't get confused, so that it will slide into the hole a little bit easier. I'll slip that in right to the other side and double check to make sure it's flush on the ends and that it fits down inside the box properly. All right, that's that taken care of for now. The next thing I need is a short piece of dowel that is the same width or the same length as this is wide. I'm just going to hold it up here like this and make a mark on it. And once again, I'll cut it on the miter saw. I'm going to double check to make sure my short piece is the right length here. A little bit short is okay, but it can't be any longer than the thing is wide. Otherwise, it'll get hung up and the drawer won't open, or the tray won't open. I'm also going to take the ends, once again, and round them over a little bit on the sanding block, just like I do with the longer one. All right, I'm going to try to explain how this works. When the tray goes up inside, the dowel is flush on the ends like that. And the purpose of this small dowel here, I'm just going to put this in. You need to pick a side where this small dowel is going to be. For mine, I've decided to put it on the right side over here. So the small dowel will go in here like this. And the idea is that you'll be able to take a small pin or something and push that dowel in And when that dowel pushes in, it pushes the longer one in and it locks in the other side over here. And the short one actually locks this side of the box too. So neither one will fall out. So you only have to go in about 1/8 of an inch, and then this will be totally secure. And then open it up again, you just push from the other side in exactly the same way, and then the box should open. Like that. I could leave this as it is, but I think that it's worthwhile to add a stop to the rod here to limit how far over it can go. Last thing you want to do is push this in so that it goes all the way in, and then you got to try to get it in through the other side and it will not go. So I'm just going to use hot melt glue to glue a small piece of wood right onto the dowel to act as that stop. So I've got to put back up, and as you can see, it looks perfectly normal there. And to release it, I just take my drill bit here, and this fits in that hole on the other side there. And see, it drops right down, real smooth. I can take it out, and I can put it back in again. And to lock it, I do that from the other side. Now the back of the slide here acts as a stop on this side, so that pin won't come out. Just push it in, and it's locked again. Now that I'm done with wasting my time messing around with the secret compartment, I'm going to carry on with the build. I've got this panel, the single panel that I talked about before, and I think that what I'm going to do is mount this off center. I'm going to make this side shallower, so this will be almost like a tool wall type thing, or tool board, whereas the other side I might put shelves on. I'm not sure yet. That's one of the things that this forces you to do. It forces you to go around your workshop and find the things that would be best stored in here. I think on this side I'm going to put my files that are on the tool board over there. There's also some special pliers that I rarely use that really shouldn't be on the tool board, and I'll put those up here as well. To fasten this panel, I need to release my false bottom here, and then what I'll do is I'll drive screws up from underneath. One of the first things that I did when I came out this morning was I made a front for it. And I'm going to attach that now. All I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the front onto the thing here, down here, because I can't put any fasteners into that. But I want that to be a permanent connection. So I'm going to put a bead of glue across that. And the reason why I can't put any fasteners in, because they'll stick into that tray and permanently attach it. So I don't want to take the chance. I've added some shims there to hold the door up. So I'm going to drop it in place, line it up with the side here. I've already made a mark on here to where I need to drive nails, which are over here. And I think they're the wrong size nails, and there that goes. I'm pretty sure these are 1 1/4 inch nails, but I need longer ones. But this will hold it and keep it from falling down until I can get the other ones put in. You know, it would probably look best if I lined it up with that one down there. But I think that it will work better if it's exactly opposite the panel that's on the inside and I hook over it this way. Because I really anticipate wanting to use the stuff on this side more than the other side. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Just glue it on and drive a couple screws in from the back. I've taken it down again to lay out the tools that I want to put in here. These are all the files that I normally use here in the shop. But the thing is, I don't use them every day. I don't use them for every project. So this is a really good place for them. It frees up a lot of space over there on my tool board as well. There we go. So like I said, I'm not sure what I'm going to use this side for yet, but one possibility is my spring clamps, which are currently clipped to the leg of my workbench down there. I would arrange it differently in here. I put dowels sticking out and then just slip them in like that.